Hello and welcome to the dark and seedy underworld of duct tape and daddy issues, which is neither dark or seedy, but it is a bit seedy and it will get dark. But not today. Today I've got my very best friend in the world on with me. I think, what should we call everybody who listens? Duct ponders. Yes.
Duct ponders?
Yeah. Somebody said you should call people who listen like they're members of the duct pond. It's quite nice. So until we got something better.
Yeah, that'll work. I'll think about it.
Yeah. If you can come up with a better name by the end of the episode, that would be great. Ladies, gentlemen, guys, gals, non-binary pals, welcome to my best friend Lexi. Hey!
Hello.
I'm always so happy when people come on, because actually out of all my friends, all of my friends are brilliant, otherwise they wouldn't be my friends. I have got very picky about who is in my circle the older I've got, and Lexi has been in it for quite some time.
Many years.
I think we must have met about 2005, 2006.
Yeah, about then. It's got to be 15, 16 years now.
In an office, which we could tell you what it was, but then we'd have to kill you.
Yes, and you came bounding towards me, this beautiful, ravishing Amazon in a white shirt and a purple tie, and I thought, I like the cut of her jib.
And then we got talking about books and stuff, and we just clicked. It was like,
oh God,
that was all you could hear, and that was just the sound of us clicking.
Remember well smoking cigarettes, looking at the sea, and talking about Strictly Come Dancing, and I thought, yes, she's the girl for me.
Yeah, definitely. I don't smoke anymore, though. Neither do you.
No, you don't. Neither do I, but
7 years
the
for me.
Over the nicotine.
But yeah, 7 years for me. It's the longest I've ever quit for.
Yeah, it's like 7 months for me, and I'm not gonna lie, the urges are still there and the weight has piled on, but we're gonna sort that out.
Honestly, it's more cushion for the pushing.
All right, I'll believe you.
I mean, I'm not a tiny bird either, am I?
Well, no, but it's just that giving up the smoking has made the eating get a bit more on the go. So yes, we'll see.
We'll see.
So yes, down for the wedding.
So yes, I have. Lexi is my maid of honour at my upcoming nuptials, which I've got to go back to the rugby club tomorrow, because apparently the bloke who promised us a moon and the stick has moved on, and the new guy has gone, I don't have any moons or sticks. So I'm not stressing about it though. Apparently,
but you had that organised months ago.
I know. And lovely Teresa from the rugby club, she messaged me, and she rang me all of a state, and she said, we haven't got any white tablecloths, we've only got black ones. And I was like, calm down, it's fine, there's plenty of time to get white ones, and even if we can't, even if there becomes a world shortage on white tablecloths, I said, if we have to have black ones, we're anarchists, we'll just slap a red napkin on it.
We'll just turn it into a goth wedding instead.
Exactly. We can stick a red rose or a black rose or something in amongst all the baby's breath. It'll be fine. Like, it's all right. So in other words, in other news this week, I got told by the Integrated Autism Service that I'm not actually autistic. Well, I have two things to say to them. One is, and the other one is, you're wrong. And on we go. So, the book. If you look closely, you can see that says Lexi, because this is the Lexi chapter. Last week, we talked about the recorded messages that I had to do.
Stella.
I'm still not over saying the words aching pussy out loud.
Yeah, I must admit that the aching pussy is just something that does, what am I aching for exactly? Can't tell you that my pussy has ever actually spoken to me and said, I'm aching, you need to do something about it. But I understand that the boys do appreciate that. So I ache for you, my love.
I think Marion Keyes put it best in Rachel's Holiday when she said it had woken up and was demanding its breakfast. That was
Yeah. I don't really want to bring up the whole subject of fanfic, but you know I'm going to.
Oh, yeah.
In fan fiction, it's not so much an aching pussy as her muscles clenched around nothing because she wanted him so badly.
Oh my God.
It's poetic. It's poetry, my love.
I'm a poet and I beg to differ.
You really need to delve into the world of fanfic, because those women can write that shit.
Honestly, the reason I don't dive into fanfic is I know I would drown in there and never be seen again. I love it.
That's around about where I am right now.
Yeah.
But more of that later.
Okie dokie. So with I'm glad you all enjoyed the lovely Dave. Dave has had quite the what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, I think the word you're looking for, Dee, is the one that you used on the podcast, whereas we were all watching it going, damn, that boy is fine.
So, Dave, I know you're listening to this and you've had quite the impact on our listeners. It's all right.
Basically, Dave could use this as his own dating site, I reckon, at this point.
Yeah, he's a good-looking chap and lovely too. Thank you very much for coming on last week, Dave. It was so much fun. So, onto the book, which you can get from Amazon. The link, if you are listening, is in the show notes. And if you are watching, you can just click on the picture of the book that darling Phil has probably put up again because he's brilliant and he knows how to do stuff. Bless him. He said to me, do you want me to show you how to do it? And I was like, no. One, you're doing it. It doesn't take you very long. And two, I'd forget and then I'd just get really annoyed. So no, carry on.
He's just so helpful, that lovely boy of yours.
He is, he's wonderful. Yes. So we ended last week with, are you ready? Few emails and a phone call from the office later, I had the go-ahead to, well, go ahead. So deep breath, log on to the system, the phone rings, I answer and enter Jeff. Not his real name, but I hope to God that was his real accent. He's from Dorset, though he pronounced it Dorset, you see, and has the broadest West Country twang I have ever heard, ever. And I did live in Bristol for a while. Jeff was my first, and I shall always have a soft spot for him. A hot, wet, soft spot. Good Lord, the shit I came out with on that first call makes my toes curl. However, the more porny you are, oh my God, I can't believe I said that.
Porny, is that really the word that you're looking for?
Yeah, right. Yeah, porny was, the word I was looking for. So, however, the more porny you are, the more they like it. I found out quite early on that keywords like hot, wet, juicy, and throbbing are very popular with your average phone wanking clientele. Oh my God. When I said I wanted to be a writer, these were not the sentences I envisaged writing, I promise you.
I refer you to my earlier comment about fanfic, Dee. Just carry on.
Where were we? Jeff certainly liked it. And I am here to tell you unequivocally that you have not lived until you have heard a Dorset man yell, "Ooh, ooh, I just shot my load up your bumhole," down the phone at you. Oh, Jeff.
Now, I have questions.
Okay, questions.
Right. So I understand that these gentlemen are accessing a very valuable service to enhance their sexual pleasure, and it's not really about who they're phoning. But don't you think men could find a better word than bumhole.
Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you?
You think, wouldn't you? Because, you know, when you imagine they're with their partner, right? This is an established partner, and she's asked you to talk dirty to her. Okay, which in my very limited experience, most men can't do. Only one, the bastard, has managed to do it to me. But really, I'm coming in your bumhole is not something that's guaranteed to turn me into a ravening sexual beast.
No, I mean, I saw a meme once that about talking dirty, where a guy had asked his girlfriend to talk dirty to him and she didn't know what to say, and he says, just insult me then. She was riding him and she went, "Oh, you big meth."
You see,
and I think about that almost daily.
I don't think I've ever told you this one, right? But this is a great story, right, about dirty talk. Now, listen, I am not in any way, I am not even in double digits for sexual partners, much to my eternal regret.
Right, there's still time.
Yeah, there's still time, I'm not dead, right? But I do enjoy a bloke taking control and talking dirty, right? But I have, as I say, I've never found any of them able to do it apart from one. However, I have attempted it. Right. So, you know, so you're thinking to yourself, well, you're not really thinking. It's just like muscle memory, and you're screaming, "Oh yeah, baby! Oh yeah, I really love the way you're
punching muscle memory,"
and all of that, right? So you're talking away, and you know, oh, you feel so good inside of me, darling. Oh, fucking hell, harder, right? And no word of a lie, this bloke turned to me and said, "Could you be quiet, because you're putting me off?" And I was like, would you rather I just got up and went away and left you on your own? You know,
my God.
Yeah, I'm putting him off. I may as well not have been there.
Oh, don't. I had me once saying, "Can you stop wiggling? It puts me off when you move."
I know.
Right.
What is that? It's just like, you know what, mate? If you don't want a woman to move or talk, maybe you'd be better off on your own. Right. I mean, am I asking too much here?
No. So back to Jeff.
Up me bumhole.
Up me. Oh, I just shot my load up your bumhole. Jeff, you sweet, sweet man who wanted nothing more but for me to tell you how good your cock felt in my arse. You had no idea you were my first, and I had no idea that I would hear the word bumhole quite as often as I have since I started this job. What?
So it's not just Jeff?
Not just Jeff. Seriously, what is it with the word bumhole? I get what it is with anal. I am quite the fan of it as it happens. It is filthy and verboten. But let's be honest, there are sexier ways to describe it. I
would agree with that.
My tight little asshole is my favourite, as in like, oh yeah, slide that nice juicy cock right into my tight little asshole, etc.
Can I suggest a more romantic proposition?
No, go on then.
Pressing against your furrowed rosebud.
No, I don't have a rosebud. I got a rusty sheriff's badge and I'm proud of it.
Well, I'm preferring to think of mine as a rosebud. Thank you very much.
Well, this is why we are the yin and to each other's yang.
This is indeed. I am the very prim proper vanilla version of Dee.
And I'm the utter slag.
I was going to say wild, free, creative, wild child. Please don't let me hear you calling yourself that.
Slag, it's fine. Right, here we go. Shouting bumhole just makes a man sound like a fevered bumpkin, if you pardon the pun. I have heard it in many accents. It has its own charm in all of them. I think Geordie might be my favourite, as in bumhole. I'll shoot you up your bumhole, pet. Um, or maybe it was the Essex bumhole. Bring it over.
I like the Essex.
Right,
the Essex.
So that's not so bad. It's like, over here, darling. Let's have that up your bumhole. Right?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not great, but it's better.
No.
I have been asked to put things in it, pull things out of it, run my tongue all around it. I just...
Sorry, I've got to stop you there. Pull things out of it. Are we talking like a magician here? Are you pulling a rabbit out of the hat?
It's like handkerchiefs that have been knotted together and are far longer than you should.
Like a fucking magic trick.
Like literally, I'm like, as I pull them all out, bunch of flowers for the gentleman.
I'm learning so much today.
I did promise you would.
Oh, yes.
I don't even know how to describe. I just wish it sounded less weird and unsexy. Bumhole, I ask you. I will admit to being a tad nervous when my first call came through, and I utterly blamed the patriarchy and its unachievable standards of womanhood for this. Would I be any good at it? Would I be sexy enough? Why did I actually give a shit, rent and bills notwithstanding? My mind raced along with my pulse. Doubt entered, and for a moment I panicked. What if I am not sexy enough? What if the men don't get turned on? What if I'm shit at this? I needn't have worried. What sweet, sweet bumhole Jeff taught me in that first call was that I could be as unsexy as a turnip. Though not wishing to cast aspersions on men from Dorset, Jeff might be into that. And the men I spoke to would still find me sexy. So,
surely would.
They would. Seriously. I take pride in my job, right? I do take pride in it, and I try and be as sexy as possible for these poor unfortunate souls. Going into like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, poor unfortunate souls, so horny, so desperate, they ring up me, Mistress Stella, and they wanting to be wanked, and afterwards, do they thank? Like, I don't know, I was just off the cuff, like, hey, I'm a poet and I do know it. But
I reckon they're probably halfway there before they've even dialed the phone, love.
Well, funnily enough, I'm going to talk about that in another chapter. Some of them are, because there's different sections. So, very quick note about kinks, as there will be a whole chapter dedicated to it. Don't you worry. I've got Mark on for that one.
Oh, that's so good.
It seems that there is a whole world of kink out there, and if you can think of it, there is someone getting their rocks off to it. In my life generally, I'm the least judgmental person I know, and I've carried this through in my work life. Like to piss yourself while wearing stockings and suspenders? Fine. Want to have me blow cigarette smoke in your face? Whatever. As long as it isn't to do with your family, children, or animals, I'm down. You do you.
You see, again, there used to be a time, not that long ago actually, when I would watch a documentary or whatever, you know, usually Channel 4, obviously, I mean, come on, when people would be describing their kinks. I mean, we are not kink shaming, whatever it is, as Dee has just described, it's fine, you do you. But I always used to think, where do these kinks come from? And then I discovered, well, you know who I discovered, and I discovered fanfic, and now I cannot look at apple pie without blushing, because, you know.
Lift your mug up, Lex. That's who she discovered. For those of you who can't see him, it's Tom Ellis. Tom Ellis has entered the pantheon of Lexi's exceptional gentleman.
Oh yes, he has been formally approved and entered the halls of Lexi's acceptable gentleman that Lexi would welcome intimate relations with. There are others there. Obviously, yes. Kenneth, Brannagh, chairman of the board.
Yeah.
Since I was 18. David Tennant. Tom is the latest entrant. Isn't he lovely? But yes, no. So I was reading, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Tom Ellis stars in Lucifer, where he plays the devil. And I've been reading a lot of fanfic, which is where my fixation with apple pie has come from. Because, you know, fan fiction is written by amateurs, and trust me, there is some ropey fanfic out there. However, there's also some fucking damn fine fanfic out there. And the one where Lucifer is eating apple pie off of his amore just has stuck. I can't go into Aldi and look at apple pie now without blushing. It's fucking awful. I can't buy apple pie. I mean, where did that come from? I mean, how did I know that people eating things off of each other was going to be doing that for me? It's just, oh dear God.
Yeah, see, doesn't do it for me. Though I do know a guy who ate a cod and chips and Savoy off a girl's back.
No,
yeah.
No, that's not sexy.
Well, it was for him because he got his tea.
Sauce, yes. Cod and chips, no.
With a Savoy.
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to have to kind of take the kink down a bit. I will not accept cod and chips, and definitely no Savoy.
Well, we've done the Bumholes section of this chapter. Shall we move on to the microwave?
Sorry, my darling. I'm distracting you.
No, don't apologise. This is exactly why I had you on.
You knew I'd do this. Go on.
Right.
The microwave.
So anyway, back to my first shift. This is where I met Matthew. Lord love him, he was a curious one. He sounded quite young, so I thought, being the good phone sex operator, brackets, PSO, see, even when I'm writing this filth, I still have to have the proper abbreviations. Oh, sorry, being the good phone sex operator that I am, and finding the idea of very young men rather creepy, though I do like them young, that I would ask his age. He had been asking me to describe my tongue and said he was soon going to ask me questions about my bottom, which is exactly as he put it too. I'm going to ask you some questions about your bottom. For those who cannot see, Lexi is losing her shit. Yeah. I'm going to ask you some questions about your bottom. So far, so fifth form. Well, so far, so fifth form when I was at school anyway, from what I understand these days. School kids are participating in orgies in the common room and selling crack in the toilets.
Well, sex education on Netflix does have a lot to answer for, but it is fucking brilliant, that show. Just
honestly,
giving that.
It's I think it's a documentary more than anything else.
Never happened in my school.
Well, some of it happened in mine.
Well, you were bloody lucky. Mine was incredibly vanilla. Go on.
Well, I'd come out of a convent and went to a little tiny village school where everybody knew everybody, and there was lots of hiding places in fields, etc.
Sided with Rosie. Noted.
Yeah. Well, according to the Daily Mail, and its ilk anyway, other hateful, sexist, homophobic, racist, transphobic, inaccurate, borderline paedophilic publications are available. Looking at you, Metro. Literally, just as I was about to ask him his name, I hear a female voice in the background. All right then, love, that's me off now. Don't forget your teas in the microwave. 4 minutes it needs. See you later, love. Wow. You all right there, Lex?
His poor mum.
While this is happening, Matthew has undergone a transformation and has turned into the Harry Enfield character, Kevin. He's grunting away like the disgruntled teenager he clearly is, and then comes back to the phone and gives me what I'm sure he thinks is a cool and suave hi.
I'm saving questions for later.
All right. It is the closest I have ever come to laughing right at a caller. How old are you? I ask him. I don't want to tell you, he replies. What's your date of birth? I counter. Can I ask you my questions about your tongue and bottom and then tell you? No, Matthew, you really can't. Not only am I not allowed to talk to minors, but I also don't actually want to. It's creepy, just not right. Though there is part of me which wonders what kind of question he could ask that couldn't be answered with big or round.
Okay, right.
Go on.
Now, what I'm fascinated about with Matthew is he on his mobile phone or is he on his mum's landline?
I think he was on the landline.
His mum
Otherwise,
would get an itemised bill.
Right. Otherwise, she wouldn't have, like, I'd have heard a door open and it would have sounded like she was from the door, but it sounded like she was grabbing her keys in the hallway or something.
He is going to be in so much trouble because she is going to go through that. If she's anything like me, she is going to go through that itemised bill and think, what the fuck is this number and why has it cost me so much money?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor Matthew.
Poor Matthew, nothing.
Oh, come on, he's a teenager.
That's why I couldn't talk to him.
His date of birth. And he's thinking, I want to talk to a real life sexy woman.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like teenage boys are like, well, I mean, I'll never forget a friend of mine at work coming into work and she was absolutely horrified because not quite as broad-minded as we are. And she discovered on the laptop, the family laptop, I think this kid was about 12, 13. He'd been searching for ladies with big boobies. Oh, bless him.
Ladies with big boobies.
Not to mention when another boy that I know, who's probably never going to hear this, but you know who I'm talking about, Dee, was given a computer for his birthday. It wasn't quite a laptop, wasn't quite a tablet. And I said to he who shall not be named, well, we know what he's going to use that for. And the following day, I had to sit and explain to him that watching porn was okay, but it's not real life, and things don't actually happen like that.
No. Though, right, some of
having been caught watching said porn.
Some of these young'uns, though, are full of confidence, and they kind of leave you a little bit flustered. There's this one guy on TikTok, and he's a good-looking guy, but he's very young. He must be like 18.
Oh, Lordy, my God.
Right? I mean, he's a good-looking guy, right? But he must be about between 18 and 20. And
yes, that's still a boy to me. That's still a boy.
Right? But he says, like, he's there and he's like this, just looking all cocky and self-assured. And his woman says to him, like, oh, bless you. You're the same age as my grandson. Like, oh, bless you. Call your mama to take you home. And he just looks at her and he goes, like, literally doesn't faze him. He goes, I will fuck the shit out of you. That face! Right? And the woman goes, what? And he's like, I will. He says, I'm playing. I will take you home and I will fuck the shit out of you and you'll like it. And this woman's like, oh, okay.
No. What you're going to do with an 18-year-old that's fucking cocky, I'm going to say, right, I'm going to give you a whiteboard and I want you to draw the particulars of woman's anatomy, drawing particular reference to where the clitoris is.
There have been other videos that this guy's made. He knows. Oh, he knows.
That was I never meeting anybody like that when I was a teenager.
Because there weren't any. It's like they're grown up now.
See, because when I think back to sex education at school, it literally was those cartoons in the 80s. This is, guys, because I'm so old. It was the cartoons of the penis entering the vagina. Never a mention made of any mention of women's pleasure, where the clitoris was, what it did.
No.
I mean, the amount of bad sex that women have to put up with because of that.
We had can't believe I'm going to tell you this. I can't believe I'm going to tell the nation this.
Hey, that's what we talk about when we're together.
When we had sex education at school, it was a case of you had to put a condom on a banana to pass it.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, somebody thought it would be really funny to put it on with her mouth because she'd already done that before.
Oh dear.
You know, like you put it in the thing and then they're like, oh, and there it is. Yeah.
My God. We used to call it used to be called education for living.
Oh my God. EFL.
We had a fucking aneurysm at that happened.
Do you remember that?
Education for living.
We used to have, oh my God, we used to have political discussions in ours. And even as like a 14, 15-year-old, I was always so political. We'd end up talking about like unilateral nuclear disarmament. And the teacher would be sat there going, how did this happen? We were just supposed to be talking about like how you go and vote when you're old. Yeah.
Oh, yes. And you go and get a job and you're a good girl and you don't go with more than one boy at one time.
Oops.
Oh, Christ, what a bite. Fuck me, I listened to all that shit. Trust me, if I went back to being 14 now, it would be totally different.
Honestly, like... I
would be walking into Superdrug and buying those fucking condoms proudly and going, right, who do I want?
Yeah. Remind me to tell you off thing how I lost my virginity. I literally walked in with a condom and went, come in. And he followed.
I would expect no less of you, my love, because you are the wild yang to my vanilla yin.
Indeed. Right, so back to our chapter. It says, now I get there's a whole thing about older women and younger men. I really do. My husband is 15 years younger than me. I know that The Graduate was a thing and that Mrs. Robinson is the fantasy of many a young boy. I also know there are women who do get off on it. I'm really not one of those. My friend Brian, and this is actually his real name, and I have permission to use it, it's fine. My friend Brian told us all about how he lost his virginity to an older woman while on his paper round in a Chinese restaurant in Brighton. To be clear, he told us the story in the restaurant. He didn't do his paper round there. It would be odd as he's in his 50s now, and I don't think he still has a paper round. Brian's particular Mrs. Robinson taught him the ways of the world, apparently.
Ooh.
It might have been more useful if she taught him not to piss himself while he was drunk, though. So I promptly hung up on Matthew the minor, as we're now calling him. I'm sure that when he reaches 18, he will ring back and someone will answer questions about their tongue and bottom, but it won't be me. His matter-of-fact curiosity reminds me of the man I think of as Medical Dave. He wanted me to describe my latest smear test to him. He got off on the details and his breathing quickened noticeably when I said the word speculum. You don't even want to know what happened when I said swept the swab around my cervix. But I am still shuddering. So we are on to fetishes, it would seem.
I mean, why?
It's his thing.
He's obviously never been in an appointment for a smear test.
Or he has. This is the thing. So if you break it down, the woman is lay on her back with her legs spread.
Yes.
Kind of in the like getting it all out position. I had my what I refer to as the glove puppet appointment last week.
I told you the Dawn French story, didn't I?
Did you?
Let me tell you the Dawn French story.
Tell our listeners the Dawn French story.
How can this possibly be a turn on? Although we are not kink shaming, and as long as it's, you know, legal, and as we've already discussed, you do you. So I went for my smear test. Oh, it was about 20 years ago. And I went to the health centre and they called my name. And I went in, and there, sat at the desk, was a doctor who was the spitting fucking image of Dawn French, right? I'm thinking, great, Dawn French is doing my smear test, right? But no, oh no, because next to her, she had a really nervous-looking 20-year-old. I'm speculating, but she looks about that young, medical student. So Dawn, as I'm calling her, said to me, would you mind if, let's call her Anushka, did your smear test because she needs the practice? And I'm thinking, well, we're all women here. Obviously, she's going to be doing this for a lot of her life. So what? Who am I to deny her the glory of my vagina? So I get on the bed, right, and it's not sexy.
No.
Any lady listening to this will know this, but the boys, it is not sexy. It is a very standard hospital
Can I just point out that because we are an inclusive podcast, any people who have vaginas will know this.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, carry on.
Of course, I'm on board with that. So they take you to this pretty standard hospital bed, and there's a bit of looks like rather upmarket kitchen roll, which is draped over the bed at the very point at which your ass will rest.
Yeah.
Right. And they say, and you lie on this bed, and then they say, just relax. Because of course you're going to relax when somebody's going to be shoving a stainless steel speculum up your puff, right?
They're not stainless steel anymore, because so they're not cold now.
Oh, they're not? Well, they were at this point. So I'm going.
They used to be very cold. How do you relax when your whole body goes, what?
Exactly, right? So you're lying there, and they say, just let your knees fall apart. This is not fucking sexy. And they take the speculum, which in those days was stainless steel, and they run it under the hot tap.
They didn't always even do that.
I know. And at that point, you hear the medical student go, oh, it looks like we've run out of hot water. Fine, I'm a big girl, I can take it, right? So along comes the speculum with the medical student, and she inserts it. And there's an awful lot of huffing and puffing and pulling and prodding, right? She then, after about 4 minutes of agony where she's prodding this thing, I hear that I'm just lying there looking at the ceiling trying to think about Kenneth Brannagh, because, you know, what else is a girl to do? And I hear her whispering to the doctor, I can't find it. I can't find it. The doctor, Dawn French, then comes bustling around the curtain and says to me, Anushka, can't seem to find your cervix. And I, quick as me, because, you know, I do have these moments when, well, I'm very sorry, but I'm sure it was there the last time I looked. So Dawn French, this was before the days when people recognised that you could have a tipped cervix.
Yeah.
Dawn French has a look when she can't find it either. And then she says the words that no woman wants to hear, which is, I'm afraid we're going to have to use the bigger speculum. Fuck me, no hot water. Are you at least going to use lube?
Oh, my days.
It took 15 minutes for both of them to find my cervix and tell me, that's fine now, as I limped, visibly limped out of the consulting room.
Well, I always stress the importance.
Actually, it was not.
Well, yes, this is true. And I always stress the importance of going and having your smear test, or as I like to call it, the glove puppet appointment, because at one point I had abnormal cells and had to have an operation. So much like Lexi, I have a funny OBGYN checkup story. My downstairs, my clitoris hood is pierced. I have a bar with 2 balls on it. And did you not know?
Just imagining the fucking pain of that, Dee.
Literally, it was over in a second. Literally, it was just like boom. By the time you feel it, it's over. It's really, out of all of my piercings.
In my legs right now. Yeah, go on.
Out of all of my piercings, it was the least painful, best one. I prefer getting that done than my nose, honestly. So, and I've got quite a lot of piercings.
I know.
And I've had my nipples done twice. So yeah. I prefer that one. So I've got it pierced. So this is not just like the doctor's surgery smear test checkup thing. This was in the hospital in outpatients, because I'd been an inpatient to have this operation. So I'm there, I'm on the thing, and I've got my legs in the stirrups. Never mind this like feet together, knees apart rubbish. Stirrups.
Just relax.
Right, feet up in the stirrups. There with me like bits hanging out. Now I'd had 3 kids by this point. Dignity means nothing to me. It's fine. No, they don't listen to this podcast, nor will they. So I'm there, right? And she's like pressing buttons, and it goes up, and the bottom part falls away, so the bloke can stand between my legs and have a proper look, like with a head torch and a canary or something. I don't know.
Like you're a miner.
Right? Or I'm the mine. Right? So this thing goes up, and I said, I could do with one of these for at home. And she went, oh, without the stirrups though. I'm like, no, you don't know my husband. So I'm already having a bit of bants with the nurse, because like when you're like all splayed out, what else are you going to do? The doctor comes in, has a look, and he says, oh, I've not seen one of those before. Me? Because quick as a flash as we are, went, are you sure you're qualified, young man? And he looked.
You didn't call him Doogie, did you?
But I did call him young man. Are you sure you're qualified? In that voice. Are you sure you're qualified, young man? Handbag. So he literally looks up. There's nothing like making eye contact with a man who stood like a couple of centimeters away from your vag at that point. And he went, the bar, I usually see rings in them. And I went, oh no, the ring's in my ear, which it was at the time. So yeah, that was the thing. So should we get back to fetishes? Yeah. We're nearly there with this chapter. Fetishes, and it answers your question you asked earlier. Fetishes are a strange thing, really. From what I understand, they can be born in childhood.
Ooh.
I have an ex whose mother was one of the horsey set, and he's always had a thing for women in jodhpurs. My own predilections tend towards the young Catholic priest and being punished for being a sinner. So I'm not judging. Medical Dave might have seen his mother go for a smear when he was young and been affected by it. Sounds reasonable. Not sure what the fuck was going on with Matthew, though. I was starting to get into my stride now. My nerves were gone and I was starting to enjoy myself. Not in a sexual way, more in a, oh my days, this is going to make a good book type way. So I settled in. The rest of the shift was quite mundane, really. Mostly men who just wanted to get off, though they come in their own special categories too.
Ooh,
and that's that for that chapter. So I have to tell everybody while I put my book back, this has been Lexi's first time appearing on a podcast. So a round of applause for Lexi, who's
Thank you. Thank you,
wonderful and entertaining, as I knew she would be. And she is coming on again. I think I have got you put again for a different, where are we?
Oh, more pleasures.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're back for you're back for part of the kink episode.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, where we've
There's
got
nothing better than a good kink.
the cross dressers, the Oedipals. Oh yeah, you'll find out about Danny, who wanted me to play his mother-in-law Sue. Oh yeah.
Listen, I shall very much enjoy it.
Well, this is the like calm end of the book. It just it gets wilder and wilder as it goes along.
I deliberately didn't. I have read the book. I deliberately didn't reread it because I wanted to hear it fresh again in your voice. But it is eye-opening from what I can recall from my read last year. Oh, yes, it is.
She didn't tell me she bought it and was reading it, and suddenly was saying things like vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil. I mean, how?
Yeah, that's in an upcoming episode as well. But we'll have lovely Fiona back for that episode.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to Fiona coming back. I love Fiona so much.
She's just amazing. So in the meantime, I will say you have been marvelous and I have been Dee Dickens. The ways to support podcast is, first off, like it wherever you're listening to it or watching it. Subscribe is a really good idea. Rate and review would be wonderful. If everybody listening could rate and review, it would push me up the charts and get more followers. So that's your main things. And share with your friends. I always tag the people who appear in the post when I share it. So share it on Twitter, get talking about it, water cooler moments. Let's really get a buzz going about this, which we will speak more about later too. We have managed to get through a whole episode without saying that's what she said. So yay. Well, that's one for your bingo. If there's some people who are playing a game, will they say that's what she said during the episode? And no, we didn't say it this time.
No, we didn't.
No, we did not. We probably will next week. I'm not sure we'll get through.
That's probably down to me, darling. I wasn't just feeding you the lines. I'm just far too vanilla for that.
Yes, far too vanilla.
Sweet and innocent, that's me.
Anybody who's listening cannot see the face I'm pulling now. Sweet and innocent, that's you. Yeah, you pretend to be sweet and innocent. Some of us know you better. We have had for well over a decade now a retirement plan in place where we were going to go to the same old people's home and sit in rocking chairs, drinking gin from teacups. And
we can have matching armchairs.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's going to be a very special nursing home that only employs very attractive young men in scrubs, so that you and I can say, "Oh, young man."
But what about the hot women for me?
Well, we can have those too.
Oh, that's all right then. But all right,
yes.
So any member of staff just has to be hot.
Has to be hot, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
And look after us.
Absolutely. So yeah. So that's.
I told that when I moved offices and was suddenly sitting with lots of young people, because I'm old, very old. 20-year-olds who were utterly disgusted at my vision of my future because it was just not right. And I'm thinking, oh my God, people in their 20s have obviously got more straight-laced since I was in my 20s.
They just think they invented it, like we thought we invented it, and the ones before us thought we invented it.
It's disgraceful that older women should have sexual urges. I understand that, and I should keep.
They say that until one walks their way and goes hello, and then it's I will fuck the shit out of you. And I'm like, all right, bring it on. And they're like, all right, let's
Come
go.
on then, big boy.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's the thing. So you can buy the book if you don't already have it and want to read along, or just want to read it at your own pace, from amazon.com. The link is in the show notes. It's also on the screen, I think, when the episode goes up on YouTube. Just share, tell people to listen. And if you want to come on the show, then just let me know, because we may have a spare slot. That's what she said.
Ah, you got there.
I got there in the end. Title of my sex tape. So I once again thank you, Lexi, for coming on. You've been absolutely brilliant. And that's it. I will speak to you all next week.